You know, they actually have minted an Amero coin, like the euro, only it would be called the Amero. If indeed this is a union, which would surely explain why the United States is not mentioned in Bible prophecy. Would it not? I mean, wow. The reason why the United States isn't mentioned in Bible prophecy is because the United States isn't the United States anymore. The United States is the North American Union with Canada and with Mexico. Anyway, this was on eBay. Yeah, and they're sold out on eBay. So don't go try to buy one. It's very rare. There were only 570 of them that were minted. And the Amero is similar to the euro. And this is sort of a prototype, I guess you might say. Now, I want to say this. I need to be careful when I say this because the Antichrist will control the world when he is revealed after the rapture, which, by the way, the church can't be here when the Antichrist is revealed. The Antichrist cannot be revealed until the church is raptured. Okay. But the Antichrist will control the world as a one-world government, as a one-world religion, and as a one-world economy. And that's why and how he'll be able to control the world, because he'll have a mark and he'll control the world economically, and without that mark, you won't be able to economically buy or sell without the mark. Now, how is the Antichrist going to control the world economically if you still have the United States so powerful economically? Now, stay with me. This is going to get a little bit gnarly, and it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And for that, I make no apologies. In love. Here's why. I believe it's God's design. If for no other reason, to loosen our grip on this world and the things of this world, because like the Apostle John said, soon it is passing away. I think God is wanting us to get our mind on heavenly things, so we become more heavenly minded. So like when Jesus in Matthew 6 said, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust cannot destroy, where thief cannot break in and steal, where the stock market cannot crash and destroy, as we sort of experienced this last week with the largest drop in the stock market since right after 9/11. Why else would the United States join hands with Canada and Mexico if not to sort of survive economically? You know, this whole thing with these banks and the housing market and the volatility on the stock market and all that's happening to this nation financially, can I say to you that I believe it is exactly according to God's schedule. Everything is coming together. The United States, prior to this, has to, at some point, somehow, become a non-player economically, governmentally, and even religiously. Is there not this quest for one faith, one God, one religion? It's the ecumenical movement that is alive and well in our midst and even on our island. You know, I get stuff all the time. Let's join hands together. Let's put aside our differences. Let's join and be one. Stop right there. Amos 3:3. How can two walk together lest they be agreed? They can't. Put down our differences. What differences? Do I need to put down my different Jesus than the Mormons to join hands with the Mormons? May it never be. Do I have to put down my belief in the person of Jesus Christ as God to join hands with a Jehovah's Witness? May it never be. Do I have to venerate Mary to the point of co-redemptrix in order to join hands with a Catholic? May it never be. Study those 7 letters to those 7 churches in Revelation chapters 2 and 3. What do you read in there? Hold fast. Hold true to the end. Don't let go. Keep the faith. Don't get sucked into this false doctrine, this false teaching, which again comes from the pit of hell. Jesus said, I am the way. I cannot join hands with a Buddhist. I cannot join hands with a Muslim. I cannot join hands with a Hindu. I cannot join hands with Shirley MacLaine. Out on that broken limb. Buddha didn't die for me. Muhammad doesn't love me. Hinduism has nothing for me. Jesus said, I am the way, not a way, not one of the ways. I am the truth, and I am the life. You know, we don't have time to get into the book of Acts. I wonder if this last week was not God's way of saying, are you holding on too tightly to your life in this world? You know, a lot of people lost a lot this last week. I don't know if they jumped out of the windows like they did after the crash in the 20s, but they're likening this to back in the 20s. The government is behaving the way they did before the Great Depression, as we know it. I wonder, is this the beginning of the end of the United States of America? Now, when I say that may be by God's design, let me explain that a little bit more. Again, lest you think that I am anti-American, because nothing could be further from the truth. I thank God that my parents brought me when I was a toddler to this great country to start a new life. And I'll tell you why. If they had not, I don't know, number one, if I'd be alive. And if I were still alive, number two, if I would have been a born-again believer. So I owe them not just my life, but my eternal life for having the foresight to leave the Middle East and come here. And if they didn't do that, I wouldn't have been the pastor of this church. Ha! That means somebody else would have been. Ha! So again, I love this country. I'm grateful that I was brought to this country. But I wonder, is the United States as we know it coming to an end? Is our lifestyle as we know it coming to an end? We have no idea how far-reaching this is. Some of the spin, for lack of a better word, and dialogue that I'm hearing on the news and even online is they're not sure where the floor is on this thing. I mean, right now we're at $700 billion. Try to count to just 1 billion. You'd fall asleep before you got there, probably, right?